I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's 5:30. Reading of the district's promise statement. We promise to provide a supportive environment where unique learning experiences empower all for their chosen life adventure. First item on the agenda is the seating of new board members, Sherry Dashner. So I'm going to read the oath, and then I guess we'll have you stand and, or raise your hand, whatever you want to do. It is an honor that you were elected to guide the education of our community's children. As you recite the oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility as a director of our school district with the duties empowered by the Minnesota legislature. This power puts you and the other members of our school board in the position of being both morally and legally responsible for equitable, quality education of every student in the district. In carrying out this responsibility, you will be asked to fulfill the roles of vision, structure, accountability, and advocacy. In providing vision, the board, with extensive participation of the community, envisions the community's educational future and then formulates the goals, defines the outcomes, and sets the course for the public schools. To achieve the vision, the board establishes a structure and creates an environment designated or designed to ensure all students the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. Because as a board, we must be accountable to the community, we must ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children. As board members, we serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision for our schools. Furthermore, we must strive to work together with the superintendent and staff to lead the district toward fulfilling the vision we have created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills and knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. Read and sign it. Yeah, you can read that off and then sign that. And
Okay.
give that to Wendy.
Having signed the acceptance of office and oath of office, I hereby publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office. I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of the school board member of Independent School District number 2835 to the best of my judgment and ability.
Thank you, Sherry, and welcome. All right. Moving on, are there any additional items for the agenda? If not, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
That's Tim Elke. Do we have a second?
A second.
That's Tim Burke. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Recognition of visitors and open forum. We don't have anyone signed up. Reports and presentations. Student reps, nobody's here.
Because we didn't have school today.
Oh yeah, true. Makes sense. Superintendent report.
I don't have much on my report this month. First thing I want to talk about is our behavior committee's been working very hard, very diligently, collecting a lot of data and information, as Katie can also talk about. We're getting really close to the point of creating some long-term and short-term goals for the school district. So we have worked with the admin team, the teachers, our parent engagement group, the paraprofessionals, the secretaries, custodians, cooks, and then we got feedback from students, 7th through 12th grade. So we're just waiting for the last few things to come in, and we'll be getting started creating those goals for the school district. What we're seeing is the information we're gaining from these groups is very similar to what the admin had been saying from the beginning. So that's good that we're able to, that we're all seem to be on the same page. So, any questions about the behavior committee? Okay, with no questions, construction update. They're gonna be starting to work if the weather ever cooperates. They'll be starting to work with lighting and also starting windows as soon as they have everything for it and can get started. I know they were here on Friday starting to mark out ceilings where they're going to be making penetrations. So, and they'll be trying to do that, work with us on a schedule to try and get that done prior to June in order for the construction to just start, jump in with both feet as we get started with construction for the summer. I know Mike's been working with a number of the construction groups, keeping them informed, talking with Site Logic about how everything is going. One other construction update is Life Skills is finally complete. Stove came last week. That got signed off on. The Ensel system signed off on. So the Family Consumer Science and the Life Skills projects are both complete now. That's all I have for this month. Does anybody have any questions, or is there anything you would like me to go seek out and search out for our next study session?
I know we have a Buildings and Grounds meeting afterwards, but do they have a kind of a schedule of which windows and stuff? Because that's on our Buildings and Grounds thing, I think, next of windows are supposed to be starting roughly May 17th.
Yes.
But do we know, like, which areas and which windows they're going to start on, or
I don't know. We'll have to
maybe
ask.
Mike will have that?
Mike may have that
Okay.
information.
All right.
If you're curious, I do have samples on that cart of the windows, the framing for the windows, then also some other materials I'll be using for the construction.
Any other questions?
Number 9, do we have a general range of what that other roof unit will be?
Are you on the Buildings and Grounds agenda?
Oh, sorry. I thought that was part of what you were
Oh.
discussing. Never
It's
mind.
okay.
I retract that question.
What was your question, so we can ask it at the
I was
meeting?
looking at number 9, I'm like,
I'm
what?
like, that's what I was thinking.
I
It's
know,
like-
I
I
lost.
thought you were kind of
Yeah.
hitting on a couple of those points. So that's
He
what I
was.
Well, you could probably
He
still
was,
ask
yeah,
it.
you could
Yeah,
still
I
ask
mean,
it,
You can
go
ask
ahead.
it. I don't
He might.
know at
General
this
range.
time, but their Site Logic is getting us that information.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to 7C, budget information, the enrollment update, and historical cash balances.
Enrollment, like we talk about every month, it is fluid. We're up 3 students compared to last month, which is a positive. So it looks like we gained a 7th grader, and then, but we lost a 6th grader. And then we gained a 2nd grader and a kindergartner. So, just fluent, but we seem to be sticking between that 670 and 675. So, and remember, we did budget for 650.
When do you typically get the numbers from Trinity?
We have for next year.
Yeah.
We have them. I think it's 5 or 6 that we're getting next year. They have a small class over there this year, so.
It was 7 on my
Yep.
numbers for the econ.
Oh, it may have been. It might have been 7, but I don't know they're all coming. here.
True.
I think 3 are going to Wesleyan for sure.
Oh, okay.
Because of the family.
Okay, got
That's
it.
Hockey.
Yep. Any questions about enrollment?
No. Any questions on the historical cash balances? Seems to be pretty steady. I don't have any questions. we'll move on to the consent agenda. As always, we can pull anything out. Are there any clarifying questions before we move?
Under the personnel change, staff changes, let me get it open here, I thought I had open, but.
It's up
I
there
have
if you
it
want
there.
to see, if
Oh,
you can
never
see
mind
it.
then, I got it here too, so, so are we looking at granting the leave of absence then? Because we haven't done that officially yet, from my recollection, for our fourth grade teacher that we're now hiring,
Cheryl Miller?
Sharon, yep.
Sharon.
I know it was brought up, but I don't think we ever actually approved that. And I see now we've hired, or we're gonna approve hiring somebody to replace her. Am I not remembering this correctly? Cause
There was
I,
discussion on
was she? Okay, and I'm just asking, cause I
I
just,
can't.
cause,
I know that's when she
Are they-
gave it to us.
but I don't know, did we ever approve, cause didn't she want
She's not at the bottom of
an
this. is she?
unrequested leave of absence, or however it's
Is
stated,
Karen off to go?
Yeah, a requested leave of absence.
starting like in
Starting
December or
January
somewhere
1st.
January?
Mhm.
And then you spent
On the
Okay.
March one.
I think we approved it when we discussed it, I think.
Was it under the consent agenda again?
Yeah, that's fine, I just didn't remember seeing that, so, okay.
And we have, the principals are working on plans, and then also Laura Hoffman is gonna be taking a leave of absence to have another baby, beginning of September. So we've talked about Mrs. Miller possibly filling in as our nurse, and taking direction from Laura while Laura's on leave of absence too, rather than hiring. So, we haven't made that decision for sure, but that's been part of our discussion.
Okay,
Is there certain things that she can't do as, do you have to have like a certain
She just has to
license
go
for-
under the nurse's license.
Oh.
So Laura would train her on how to give meds, and
Okay,
then Laura's available by phone if need be.
okay.
it. What do you still have remaining for openings?
They're interviewing for high school social studies this week, and then we just have the ECSE birth to two position with, or ECSE birth to two, community education position, and the ECSE 3 to 5 position. We have one applicant for the birth to two position. I've talked to our special education directors about the 3 to 5, and they are optimistic that we have some applicants coming in for that. They've been reaching out to different places for it.
And the new special ed instructor is in the elementary, Tori Day, not in the
Yeah.
high school?
It's elementary, not high school.
Oh, right.
Is it in there as high school?
No, but
Okay.
I thought the former one was high school.
Former one was, and they got switched around during the school year.
Okay.
And then, at this time, they're all elementary right now. That's hired as they're hired in the elementary, but it's actually, special education works in the K-12. Because that's what their license is, K-12. So if we need to do some adjusting in there, we can.
Do you know if any of these people are like relocating to the area? Obviously not Mary.
Not Mary. The choir teacher is. Is he on there?
Yep.
Josh?
Yep.
What?
Yep, Josh. And then, let me look at the list again. Selena already lives in the area.
Is that Gaylor?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't realize that either.
Mhm. Mary White, no. Tori Day,
You
I
know her,
don't.
Katie?
She,
Mary?
she lived, Tori, if I'm remembering correctly, she lives up in Cleveland. So I don't know if she's gonna relocate or not.
Cool.
All right. Any other questions? If not, do we have a motion?
And I can't vote on this, correct?
You're not, technically
Technically,
you
you
can,
can.
but it might be better to just abstain.
Okay.
If you feel comfortable doing
I'm
so.
confident it will pass without my vote, so.
It's up to you, I guess.
Yeah,
But,
I can abstain.
okay.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda as is.
That's Tim Burke. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
That's Tim Johnson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5 with 1 abstention. All right, 9, old business. Discuss new 2-year contract with City of Janesville for the school resource officer.
Okay. I've been doing some work with this, met with Clinton and Dave or they came into the office and met with me on April 5th. We talked about this position. I would like to keep this position and they would like to keep this position. I did ask some very specific questions about teaching DARE or another program along that line, doing more with attendance. And I said, I have never seen a job description for this position. And at that time, Dave Allman said, I think I have one. It's an older one, but I do think I have one. I said, well, I'd like to see it. So this morning, he sent it.
It's very vague.
It is very vague. However, there were some things in here that I did like that they have in here, such as that they will be teaching DARE or a program similar to it. Did that not?
It's right there.
Yep. The third, 17 weeks of DARE training in the school. It also talks about doing more or working closely with administration for truancy issues. And those are things that I was unaware of until Dave sent this over to me today and I read through it and it's like, well, okay, this is great information to have so we know what more we can add to that plate of Officer Johnson or whoever this individual is. So I think with this knowledge, we can make a better informed decision on whether we want to continue this position or not. Originally, I did have it on there to vote tonight. However, with this new information, I thought it'd be best for the board to have time to look through it, read through it, ask any questions at the next study session, which is May 2nd, and then we'll do our final vote at our May regular meeting.
As is.
When does that contract expire?
July 30th.
Okay.
Or
And the-
June 30th.
June
And this is
30th.
just for the position, not for the person, right?
Correct. This is
Correct.
for the position, not the person.
So the contract would be, if by chance there's changes in the department, that
If we-
contract would be,
If we look at the contract, what I put at the bottom of it is, this is what our cost is to the district with the current person in the position. So if the person changes, all of this information changes also.
Something to also keep in mind with the job, I think it was, did you just flip it, or was this did you just scroll down? from
I
this
just
one?
scrolled down.
Think of the objective,
Oh, you're talking about in the.
or there, yeah, the primary objective. Just keep in mind too that the hometown health grant through, that you could probably get some good stuff to help pay for some of the programs and stuff that they might wanna implement. Cause I think that's one of their topics, I guess.
It's through Mayo Clinic.
Yep.
And is this the same contract that's been signed in years past.
It is, the difference is the first 3 years we had the position, we had, it was set up where Officer Johnson was in the position. However, we were paying the city his replacement's salary. And then in that 4th year, I don't know how it all worked, but the city came back and said, well, you're getting a 20-year veteran, you should be paying for a 20-year veteran. That's when it made the large jump of, I think, $17,000, if I remember right. This year, there is also a jump if you were to look at the numbers. The biggest jump is the work comp insurance. That went up like $5,000 to $6,000, and we don't see that changing for law enforcement for work comp insurance.
I heard it's gonna go up again next year, roughly the same, just because you have all the people that are
All the people-
going out for the PSTs, and so it's gonna, and we have no control
Right.
over that, so, now whether it does or doesn't, it's hard to say, just like health insurance, our portion of that, you know, that goes up, our portion goes up,
Right.
so.
So why'd you say there was a price increase? 'Cause
From the
Workman's comp.
work comp.
no, I mean, before you said what.
Oh.
what
Because
years is-
we were-
Seasoned? Is that what you
Yes.
said? So
We
how do
were
we
getting
know?
a veteran
But we don't know
officer.
who we're getting this time, so we're approving this pay.
We're approving a contract assuming it's same person.
Okay.
So, I looked through that, and just a question I had right away is, this DARE, where does this get taught? Or whatever, a similar program or whatever. So is it elementary, is it high school? I mean, we've had discussions where the elementary is not where,
There's not as much need in the elementary.
yes, the high
Right.
school, maybe even some 6th grade, whatever,
Mhm.
going forward, possibly.
So what I've done is I've tasked
So
Claudia
junior high and-
with reaching out to other schools and reaching out to other individuals in her position to see what they're doing at the, in a K-12 situation. So what's the school resource officer helping teach at a high school level and an elementary level?
Mhm.
So we can learn more about, okay, how much, the work they're doing at the high school is, we want to mimic what other schools are doing if it's working for them. So we're waiting to gain that information.
As it states now, you have it in their junior high and high school, right? Is that what I read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
Are you talking about just the DARE program
So-
itself?
So now, would this also be taken,
I said
you'd be
elementary.
taking time out of actual class time then for this? Or how would this be getting taught? Like, when
it
would
would
it be
have to
happening?
be, it has to go, Grant and Jeff know it has to be taught during advisory time or morning meeting time, or however it works into their standards. So that's the other part we have to figure out as we go.
Yeah,
Which
the
one are you
bottom,
looking
it's
at?
the very bottom, whoop, now you moved it up, but coordinate 17-week program includes presentation of junior high and elementary.
Right, but that was that curriculum, however many years ago that this job
Mhm.
description was written.
Mm-hmm.
There, what I want to know is, I know DARE is an older program because they had DARE when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Katie said they use DARE over
Yeah.
at St. Clair. They teach it, they're not overly thrilled with it. That's why I think we need to do more we need to figure out what programs are out there that would be beneficial for our students.
So this job description will still change.
We can make this was just one that Dave sent me from when they originally started this.
2002.
Yes.
We should make this job description match
Match the
the
contract.
contract.
And how long?
But we need the contract, we need to know this information before we can write the contract too.
Yeah.
How long's the contract for?
2 years.
Can we collect, position descriptions from other schools too, like what they have? I don't know if those are be online or not, or.
it's so hit or miss what other schools have out there.
Mhm.
And then just looking at our, because we do have some space limitations for offices and, whatever, do we actually have to have a specific space for the school resource officer? I mean, I'm looking at the last how many years, it's like, I don't think they should be in their office. They should be out in the halls, they should be in classrooms. Do we actually need a dedicated space? I mean, I'm not sure if they have a student they need to talk to, you could have a conference room that could be used or whatever. I'm just, because I know that you always hear about, oh, we had to use this space for this and we use this space for that. So that's just another question I have is, if we don't want to do that, let's not put it into the contract, because I think that was one of the things that was in the previous description, is that he had to have a dedicated computer, a dedicated office.
Private office containing a telephone line,
Yeah,
a desk with drawers, a chair, filing cabinet, all that, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to figure out what job duties require that stuff. And if it's needed. I could, if he's doing DARE presentations, and so there's some desk work to be done, putting stuff together,
yeah.
but I get it, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you're only doing, out of the 42 weeks, you're only doing 15 to 16 weeks of teaching, and that might be 1 week a month. I mean, I'm just saying, when you got space stuff going on, it's just stuff we need to look at.
But he's probably issued a laptop and reviews security footage and stuff like that too, where he probably needs to have a little bit more
And
private area.
paperwork to be filled out if there is any incidents or.
But you can still put that into a office, he can go in there and do that when it's not being occupied either. I mean,
I know
Sure.
the plan that Jeff and Grant have been working on is doing some rearranging to open up 3 areas here and also where OJ is down, in order to give us more meeting space and
Mhm.
open stuff up.
okay.
All right. Any other questions on 9A? 9B, safe routes to schools.
This has been a headache to deal with, and I think Clinton at the city would tell you the same thing. I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to check, or to click on the link, but they've changed the safe routes to school route again. And essentially all they've done is they're redoing some sidewalks. It does cut the price down by about $50,000, according to Clinton. The blue line that's here, that would still be an 8-foot path and maintained by the city. I did have a discussion with Clinton about why is it going behind the residential homes there? Why isn't it going on the other side of the creek? On the school property, just to give an additional barrier between them. And it would be less materials, shorter distance. He was gonna talk to the engineers about that. Redoing all of these sidewalks. Not all of them have to be redone, but some do. If it's a sidewalk and it's 80, in order to be ADA compliant, it only has to be 5 feet wide. And some of those sidewalks are already 5 feet wide. Others are not, that's why they're in here to be redone.
So green would be redone.
Green is to redo it
They just did all those.
along Teal
By your
Street.
house,
No,
isn't it,
that's
Tim?
on Teal Street.
This is
No,
on
what, your house?
Teal
no,
Street.
Or no, that's one
Market.
down.
That's over one to the
Yeah,
east, that's on
so this is
Teal.
along Teal Street and Second Street.
So they're not gonna redo any of the sidewalks then on Main Street then? That the original plan had showed that, where.
Right,
Where.
right along, across from the old
Practice,
softball
yeah,
field.
because
and
those are
Those are the worst
terrible.
ones.
Yeah. So they're not gonna redo any of those?
Not according to the newest information he sent me the other day.
And then
Wasn't
are they,
this
oops,
approved?
go ahead.
Yeah, wasn't
This
this?
has been, city council approved.
Yeah.
So are
But
any of
there's
these
still
people
been
now
some
gonna
more
get
dis-
mad?
I'm sorry.
Are any of these people now gonna get mad?
You know, the sidewalk?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, if they're not paying for it, really, what's it gonna,
Tearing up more of your, taking more of your yard away.
well, when they redo the street, they'll end up having to do it anyway, and then
Right,
you'll pay for it
but that's the
too.
reason.
But then you'll have to pay for it, you'll get assessed for that too then. So,
Right.
The question I have is, going from, was that Northwoods,
Yep.
Yep.
where that is? Where, there's that big gully, they're gonna have to build a
That's what I
bridge
thought.
over that then too, right? Because there's that big gully there that goes
I thought
from
there
where
was too.
Lowell's
Oh,
is.
yeah, right next to West Falls there.
Or, yeah,
Yeah.
well, it used to be Lowell's, but it's
Right.
West Falls, yeah. So they're gonna have to build a big,
That's a
huge,
ditch there.
a big, huge bridge across that drainage ditch there. And then you're gonna have to cross that road, you know, coming across to where that apartment
Apartments.
building is and then cross over. But then do they have, is there a path going from your circle there where you guys live, Jeremy, to the new path then? Cause there's no sidewalks in your guys' division.
Nope,
Right, that's
there
right.
is not.
So is there any path then, or where are all those kids gonna walk? There's gonna be nobody coming down to like where that goes now? You know, where the new blue line is?
Right.
Right.
They're gonna be walking on the streets going
They're
to,
gonna they're gonna have to walk on the streets down, or right at the corner of where it becomes the circle
yeah,
is where
the sidewalk starts, yeah.
So they'll have to walk down that sidewalk to catch
Okay.
one of the new, or the green sidewalks to
Could-
catch up to the school.
Couldn't there at the baseball field, that line, you know, you've got that road that comes from, that's getting dug up right now. Couldn't there be something
East
that
Street?
comes there and connects?
That's up a street, that's
No,
up.
the dead end.
The dead
The
end
dead
line.
end,
Comes
the
right
East
out to-
Street.
It's right where
Comes
that-
right out to the
it's
football.
right where
Left
that-
field.
Oh,
Left
you
field,
mean to the
baseball
football field?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
baseball field,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it connect
yeah,
with
yeah. I
this.
thought you were talking, they're doing that one up,
Yeah,
the
they should
further
put
one
it-
up to the north there. is
Right
what-
there.
Yeah, couldn't they connect that? That's gotta be partially our property and,
This is all Armadero's.
Yeah. Yep, that's
But not
his, but the
straight off that-
street, but the
straight off
street
that
where
road, though.
Kruger's
Street
used
end,
to
though.
live,
Straight off the road there.
well,
what'd you say?
well, Kruger used to live there.
Oh,
Hendrick.
Joe Bloom.
So, but I mean, if you come straight down, there's that
Tiny.
road that comes right to the, and then dead ends, right where that blue is? Yeah, I think that's what you were
Yeah.
talking about, is connecting right there. If those kids wanted to, but I mean, really, then they're on a side, but there is sidewalks there, if you go right there. Yep, going,
There's a sidewalk that goes all the way down.
yep,
And can connect to these sidewalks.
yeah.
So basically, that other blue one is just to get Nelson Court in.
Right, but they're gonna redo all of these sidewalks.
And those were
also
done not
redo
too long ago.
Where's the next development?
all of
going?
these.
I
Yeah,
don't think they know yet.
Yeah.
So Sexton's on that, all that corner?
This corner,
Yeah,
No, who owns the one lower?
this one,
Yeah.
I don't,
is that hefty? Todd Trainer?
it might be.
I was
But this
curious
one
if that was
wasn't-
gonna become another development then.
This one wasn't the issue, it was when you got up to
Right.
Sexton's, that was the issue.
So they're gonna,
and actually, that
Frontage
one
always
here
is
though,
really
I
redone.
kinda like that one there, cause there's already a path there for that division, and it's kinda halfway in between it, you know, the Northwoods.
Yeah.
You know, that one's not a bad idea, you know, cause all the kids can walk there, and,
Well, he said something.
you know,
over
it's just,
100 feet.
who's gonna keep that path, the whole path clear?
The path itself, the city will take care of.
Okay.
The sidewalks.
The residents still have to, yeah.
so what if they are not being cleared?
Then you file a complaint with the city.
In past cities, they've fined them. I
I don't
know,
think they do that here.
If you complain.
They're supposed to.
even if
They're
a city
supposed to fine
official
them if
drives
they're not
by and
cleared.
it's consistently, I've heard of people getting fined. Not here, but in other cities.
Yeah.
I think you just have to, you have to make the call to the city or send a letter, or email, or whatever. I mean, if you
Same
don't
as-
do it,
Yeah,
they're not gonna enforce anything.
same as if the city has to mow your lawn because you don't mow it.
Mhm.
How much do they charge?
Might not be done as nice.
I guess with this, the only thing that I would like to see them change is moving moving to the south side of the creek.
That little jut.
Where the jog is,
Yeah.
if they move just to the south side of the creek here, almost keep it straight,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
go over the bridge here and connect out.
So-
If there's, what their plan is to keep that.
So
I don't remember if that was there the whole time.
the other
or not.
question is, that I have then, is they said this plan will cost less. Okay,
Oh.
but you're still having to put two bridges, right? Cause you're gonna have to do the one,
here.
yep, and,
It's either gonna be here or here.
Yep.
And there has to be something up here.
yeah. So how is it, just because I suppose the path is less, you don't have to go through
You don't
that
have
all
to
the
get
way
extended.
behind that subdivision and up?
You don't have to go all the way back here
Okay, and up, okay.
and over.
Isn't there
Or if you went this way and came,
solar
you'd
panels
still
up
have to have
there?
another bridge to get over
Yeah.
that line.
So
I bet,
if this is supposed to come in less,
I bet it's right where it curves. It's right-
can't, couldn't they redo that sidewalk on the main street, which, you know,
Possibly they could.
because did they ever find out, did we get that additional grant that
No,
they,
we did not. We got $0.
see, and that's one where they said, oh, we're 95% sure,
We're very
okay.
sure we're gonna get this.
So we got
It'll
zilch.
cover our portion, it would cover the city's
Yep.
portion, and we got nothing.
So
Okay.
now what's our cost at?
We,
45,000. We didn't,
We
we
said-
stuck with our
yep.
original
Yeah.
mhm,
dollar amount.
That was just, great if it happens.
Yep.
Yep.
okay.
And you said there's no sidewalks going down Nelson Street, why they don't just go south and, or there are?
I don't think
there
there are
is.
sidewalks on
So why
Nelson
they're,
Which
okay,
one's
so
Nelson?
that's why they're cutting.
It's
through.
Nelson
Out by
Court is,
Hefty. See, you know, what is
Is
it?
that a
the
disconnect?
church?
Oh, that new, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think.
that-
Yeah,
What's
there's not.
strange is, I live in Allen Circle, obviously, but when Allen Circle was developed, there was supposed to be sidewalks along the outside in front of everybody's houses. They didn't put any of them
It was all supposed,
Mhm.
there's supposed to be a park in there too.
in.
mhm.
It was, I remember.
Any other questions on that?
So this is a go then, city approved this new route.
City has approved this, however, some other questions have come up since they approved it. But they're gonna have to get it done because they'll lose the funding if we don't get
Yeah.
it done. The problem is the initial grant was for $400 and some thousand. Well, now that's estimated cost is just over 600. So,
Okay.
Does that include all the re-engineering fees that they did
Oh,
back
I
and
have no
forth?
clue what Bolton and Minks have charged for that.
Because they had a lot of re-engineering fees going back and forth too.
I'm sure it doesn't.
Okay. All right, so we don't have to,
We don't have to do
Prove
anything with it,
anything
it
with
was
that.
just
Okay.
information.
all right. 10, new business. Approve the non-renewal of Jennifer O'Donnell as business teacher. Want to talk about that at all, or?
Jen O'Donnell's been here as a long-term sub for Carrie Bluth over the last 2.5 years. And because she's a long-term sub, we have to do a non-renewal at the end of, for this year. Oh, sorry, going back, we have not filled our business position yet. We're still working on numbers for that to determine whether we need to, if there's a different way to arrange those students and need that position or not. Or if we offer it as a part-time position compared to a full-time.
Do you feel it'd be tougher to find somebody part-time?
It's tough to find somebody, whether it's part-time or full-time.
Do you think this
There's
is?
only-
What about this?
There's only one college in the state that offers that licensure.
Does Jennifer have that licensure?
Yes.
Has she been interviewed or anything?
They went through an interview process. as they were getting numbers in. And now that they have numbers in, Mr. Hanson has met with her and talked to her about what they're doing to move forward.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I can never, no, if we do a motion, we can still talk about it, or otherwise I was just gonna ask about the radon testing. I
This
kinda
isn't a
look-
consent
Oh,
agenda,
no.
these are all.
This is
this
A.
is all
Oh, you're gonna
separate.
do it
Yeah,
individually?
this one's A.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, I
this
was
one.
thinking we were
Yep.
doing it under consent, I didn't read it, okay,
No.
never mind.
Just A right now.
It's your first meeting?
It is, just back off.
I'd expect that out of me.
Yeah. Good.
Do we have a motion? then?
I'll make a motion to approve the non-renewal of Jennifer O'Donnell.
That's Tim Burke. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's Tim Melke.
Lost her.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. All right, B, approve the non-renewal of Kurt Schrader as special education teacher.
This was just a situation that, not a great fit for Kurt, so we decided to part ways and wish him the best of luck in the future.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the non-renewal of Kurt Schroeder.
Do we have, that's Tim Johnson. Do we have a second?
A second.
That's Tim Burke. Any further discussion?
I mean, pass.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. C, review of radon testing results. Mike just happened to walk in too at the right time.
Okay, we did do, every 3 years, we have to do radon testing in the school district. They did this on March 28th, 29th, and 30th, and then they sent them in to be read. Everything falls within its normal limits, therefore we are good for 3 years. So, Tim Elke, do you have a question about the radon testing?
Nope, I am good.
Okay.
It's
Thank
going
you.
too fast.
Well, you had mentioned it, so.
Well, I was gonna ask about how the test results came back. Instead of looking through the 27 pages, I was just gonna ask that question, so.
Okay.
I have the answer.
They were all,
The highest radon test results was Jeremy Early's office.
Oh, that's the one?
but I wasn't here all week. I wasn't here those days.
Yeah, I don't know why yours was the highest, because you're not even below ground level.
Huh,
It's
interesting.
interesting. But it's still way below
Yeah.
expectation, so it was just the highest one.
I say you tell me that 2 weeks after I get back.
Never asked.
It's a plan.
Is there anything we need to approve with this, or is it just a,
It just needs to be presented to the board.
okay. Any other questions? All right, D, approve school district calendar adjustments with the last student day of Friday, May 27th, and last staff day of Friday, May 27th.
Okay, we talked about this at our study session, that I'd be asking for approval. I changed it, and I'm asking for 2 different approvals. The first one is to just make it so the student and staff last day is May 27th. We do officially get done with school at 1 o'clock that day with students. Staff, however, needs to be here until the end of their contract day at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, depending on when they came in. The reason I'm asking for that workshop day on May 31st, to not have teachers come in, is so that we can start the moving process to get started with construction. So Mankato Movers are planning on being here on May 31st to get everything, to start getting everything moved. And we'd like to not be in their way and be ready for them.
Any questions? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion To approve school calendar change adjustment.
That's Tim Burke. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Tim Johnson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. E, approve to pay teachers up to 8 hours outside of contract time to prepare their classrooms and complete grading.
Grades have to be done when the when students leave on May 27th. Previously, or elementary's always had their grades done when the students leave on or the last day of school. High school traditionally has not. They've used that workshop day. So thinking about what we're asking them to do to be prepared and ready to move, I thought it would be a nice gesture for the school to offer them up to 8 hours outside of contracted time. It would approximately cost $12,000 total. That's if everybody took their 8 hours. I know there's a number of high school teachers that probably won't need 8 hours. Elementary, there may be some that do, some that don't. We did talk to Kelly Smith from Baker Tilly last week, just to make sure Matt and I were on the same page. We can take that out of the construction budget. So it doesn't come out of our general budget, it would just come out of the construction budget. And we'd also want to make it clear with the teachers that this is not a past practice. This is something that's a one-time thing. Don't expect this each year. So just my thoughts on that. I think we do ask a lot of our teachers.
And they have
just
to
thought-
track it, right?
They have to track it. It has to be outside of hours. We did something like this with some training last year, and they have a Google form that they have to track it on.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just so you guys are aware, I have talked to union representatives about both these scenarios, and they're good with whatever the board decides.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the paying teachers extra 8 hours.
That's Tim Burke. Do we have a
Up to.
second?
I'll second.
That's Tim Johnson. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
I'm gonna abstain just because that's paying my wife, so.
One abstention. So a motion passes 5 with 1 abstention. 11, approve resolution accepting donations. I'll read them off here. So we have $150 donation from St. Andrew's Council of Catholic Women for the prom committee. $100 donation from Bornicke Construction for the prom committee. Another $100 donation from Elysian Auto Service for the prom committee. A $50 donation from Janesville Dairy Queen for the prom committee. Another $100 donation from Mankato Motor Company for the prom committee. A $500 donation from Janesville State Bank for the prom committee. A $300 donation from Inland Seas Education Association for GLWFC mini grant for science equipment. And $137.15 donation from Minnesota Association of Future Farmers for AET FFA mini grant. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution accepting donations.
That's Tim Johnson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Tim Elke and Wendy.
Johnson,
Yes.
Cahill,
Yes.
Elke,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Dashner,
Yes.
Seiss.
Yes. And thank you for all those donations. They're much appreciated. 12, upcoming meetings. We don't have a policy one on here, but I know we have one coming up. And just so everybody knows, Scott was on the policy committee with Sherry's background in policy work. We're gonna add her to the policy committee. So that'll be coming up when we can figure out times that'll work for us to all meet.
I don't know how many of you saw the announcement by MSBA last week, but they did go through and made changes to some policies and forms last week. I think there were 7, maybe 8, that we'll have to update. However, they did say they're not significant changes, therefore it takes 1 reading, not 3. However, I'd like to get them to you before a study session to be approved at the meeting. And we'll highlight in red the changes to try and make it easier for all of you.
And May 2nd, our study session followed by activities committee meeting. May 16th, our regular meeting followed by finance committee. And we are now adjourned at 6:20.